Hello, I'm Sergeant Ray Poole. I'm your new host for the Indiana State Police Public Information Show. Today, we're at Arlington Woods Middle School in Indianapolis, Indiana. We're going to learn a lot of good information about seatbelt safety. Today, it's the teachers versus the students in a fun game of Are You In? Jeopardy. Stay tuned and we'll be back with some more exciting information.
I look different. I wish people liked me more.
Why do I have to be so?
Why do I have to be like this? Strange. I have these thoughts. I wish I were taller, cooler, stronger. Everybody else gets high.
I just don't want to.
I think a lot of kids smoke pot. I feel like I'm the only one who doesn't.
Why do I have to be so
Different.
different? Maybe we're not as different as we think.
Vince, they're really cracking down on safety belts these days.
What's up, officer?
I'm giving you a ticket for committing an 811.
Safety belt violation.
Compliments of Barney Fife.
We never wear safety belts. We're dummies.
Weisenheimers.
He gave us a ticket.
Man's got to do what he's got to do.
Hi, my name is Joshua Owens at Arlington Woods Middle School. Stay tuned to Indiana State Police Public Information and we'll be right back.
Every day, 10 children are killed by gunfire. It's time we said enough is enough. Find out what you can do. Call 1-800-WE-PREVENT. Not one more lost life. Not one more grieving family. Not one more.
Welcome back. I'm Sergeant Ray Poole, Media Services Officer for Central Indiana. And today we're going to be talking with Dr. Judy Shees. And she's with the IU School of Medicine, Automotive Safety for Children. And Dr. Shees and myself have done several projects over the past few years, such as safety seat car clinics and safety checks at the Walmart stores around the Central Indiana. And I want to welcome you here today. And thanks for being here.
It's good to be here.
We also did a little project over at Arlington Woods Middle School in Indianapolis, Indiana, a couple weeks ago, and we talked about the game Are You In? Jeopardy. But before that, I would like to talk to you about what Automotive Safety for Children is.
Mm-hmm. We are a program at the IU School of Medicine, and we do traffic safety education for kids. People know us mostly probably from what you just talked about, car seat inspection clinics, where we go around the state and we ask people to bring in their car seats and we check them. But we also deal with older kids too, and the game that we're going to talk about in just a little bit, it's directed towards middle schoolers.
Good. I found that information is always so helpful. You know, when as a police officer, we go out and talk to different schools and different preschools on car seats, but now we're going to a different direction, maybe the older kids.
Mm-hmm. That's right. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration calls kids who are aged 5 to 14 the forgotten child because, as you just said, we often direct programs towards younger kids and those preschoolers, and we've done those together in the past too with preschoolers. But the 5 to 14-year-old traffic crashes as the number one cause of injury and death for those age of kids. But sometimes they're hard to reach, and part of the reason that we found they're hard to reach is because some of the times things that appeal to them may not appeal to their parents, and so the message is harder to get across.
So what should we say, the forgotten child, what things are we doing? As a matter of fact, what things are you doing, maybe with the people from Governor's Council from Impaired and Dangerous Driving? We
work with the council in a number of ways. We always work with them the first blitz of the year. They have what's called Operation Pullover. Operation Pullover is an educational enforcement program that they do, and we work with them the first program of the year because February is National Child Passenger Safety Awareness Month, so that brings us into the picture with them. We work with them to put together a program, and as we said, this year it's directed at middle school kids. We work with law enforcement. The state police have been our partners, as our local law enforcement around the state. And we go to media markets, and we go to the major media markets because we know if we hit those media markets, we're going to get the message across to a lot of people.
So far with the training that you're going around with the police officers and talking with the kids, do you find it pretty successful in what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish?
I think very successful. The kids that we've talked to, when you ask them, was the game effective, they they said, yeah. As a matter of fact, one kid I thought was real effective said, it makes me think it may not be a bad idea to wear a seatbelt, and that's the message that we want to get across. Some kids think it may not be cool if they wear their seatbelt, but it sure beats the alternative of not wearing one.
And that kind of takes away some of my questioning. The kids think, it's not cool. The seatbelt's a little uncomfortable, and maybe some of the kids are still pretty short, and the seatbelt harness catches them on the collarbone or on the neck. What suggestions do you give to these kids that are watching us today, or maybe even some of the parents that are watching us? What kind of suggestions and tips can we give them?
Well, I think probably number one is just keep after kids, because one of the things that we found is when we ask kids, well, why don't you wear seatbelts? Well, they forget, and they may, and wearing a seatbelt is a habit. So parents can help by reminding their kids to always buckle up, and then it'll become a habit. Kids say the seatbelt may cross their neck and may bother them that way. If that's the case, then they need to sit up tall. And it's not going to hurt if the seatbelt rubs your neck a little bit. And that is not dangerous. It may be a little bit uncomfortable, but it's not dangerous.
So are we still wanting kids maybe between the ages of 5 to maybe 9 or 10 to still sit in the back seat? Maybe because, number one, the airbag, the dangers of that, but maybe because the seatbelts in the rear are maybe a little safer?
Well, the back seat is safer, and the federal government says any child under 13 should ride in the back seat because of the airbag that you just mentioned. We'd all be safer if we rode in the back seat. So, my son, he's almost 12, and he just automatically goes back there.
Okay. Well, after the messages that we have coming up, we're going to try to talk about the game Are You in Jeopardy, and see what this game's about.
Hi, my name is William Sargent. I go to Alton Woods Middle School. I always wear my seatbelt, and you should too. Stay tuned for more excitement.
I think you have to realize who you are as a person, who you are as a child of God, and that your potential is just so much greater than any chemical substance. Drugs, they destroy people, they destroy lives, they destroy families. I'm soon to be a mother, and these are things I think about. Please stay positive and stay away from the drugs, because, there's no place positive you can get with that route.
Look at me, busy as a bee. Where'd I get all this energy? Oh, meth, meth. I don't sleep and I don't eat, but I've got the cleanest house on the street. Oh, meth, meth. Get these hairs all out of my face. Get these bugs all out of my place. One more hit, no time to waste. Oh, meth, meth.
On the big highway of life, there's only one safe place for kids. Backseat, baby. The front seat's not the place to drop out. Don't want that big old bag to pop out. Backseat, baby. Put that booties in the backseat now. Backseat, baby. Have that kids you never meet. I'm here to remind you to put them behind you. Backseat, baby. Oh, let me hear it. Backseat, baby. You stay alive even when I drive.
Welcome back, and I'm here with Dr. Judy Shees of Automotive Safety Program from Indiana University Medical Center, and we're going to talk a little bit about the game Are You in Jeopardy? We were talking earlier about how the parents sometimes have to remind the kids to wear their seatbelts, but I also come across a lot of parents that tell us and tell police officers in general that if it wasn't for their children, they would not wear their seatbelt, or they would forget to, and the kids remind the parents to wear the seatbelts. Have you come across that at all?
Yeah, we see that sometimes, especially with younger children. And what we know from studies that we've done and have been done nationally is that the best way to get a child to buckle up is to get the parent to, which is just the opposite of what some people think, and that in some cases is true. My son always reminds me to buckle up, and I'm sure if you ever forgot your seatbelt, your kids will get you too. But it's habit, but we know sometimes kids have parents buckle up, but the most important thing as a parent that you can do is to set a good example and buckle up yourself. And that doesn't mean just for younger children, that's for older children too. Because if you say the car's not going to move if the seatbelt's not on, it's not going to move.
Okay, Judy, and we talked about this a little bit earlier in the first segment, but it's important that we hit this age group because these kids are forgotten, like we mentioned earlier. We want these kids to remember that they need to wear their seatbelts, and they're going to be driving in a couple of years, and that's probably why we're targeting this group right now.
Right. You know, one thing about this age group of children is these kids, from the time they left the hospital, had a child restraint law. They had to go home in car seats. So people normally would think, well, then these kids buckle up all the time because it's been ingrained in them. But that's not the case. As a matter of fact, what we know is that as kids get older, their seatbelt use decreases. So we really have to keep after them to do that. You know, one of the other things we talked about was this message and getting a message to these kids, these forgotten kids. And I said earlier that sometimes what affects kids and what catches their attention with media or with posters may not be very popular with their parents. So it's really hard to find a good medium with that too.
We also mentioned that some of the kids, they think that if they're with a parent or a big brother or sister or a grandparent that really drives really well, and they think, well, I don't need to wear my seatbelt because I can buckle it up before that crash happens. I can see that crash getting ready to take place. Is that a myth?
Very much so. You know, it's that whole idea that teens think they're invincible and things that happen to other people aren't going to happen to them. You know, I've heard kids say, well, my brother's a good driver and when I ride with him, I don't wear my seatbelt because if anything happens, I'll put my seatbelt on quick. But like you say, there are things that has nothing to do with the driver, things that are completely beyond the driver's control. So that's why, you know, we talk about that right before the game. We try to dispel some of those myths.
And speaking of the game, there's one of the questions on the game is the biggest killer of young people today. And can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, for this 5 to 14-year-old, it's car crashes. It's the number one killer and injures more kids than anything else. And that's why we really have targeted them.
And with that, the game that we participated in, and I happened to be at the one at Arlington Woods Middle School in Indianapolis, Attorney General Jeffrey Modisette, the people from Riley Hospital was there, people from OPO, and other police officers from IPD and the state police were there. And I think it was a pretty challenging game of Are You in Jeopardy? We had the teachers versus the kids, and those teachers proved, and as you will notice, that they are still pretty smart, but those kids gave them a good run for their money.
Yeah, and we sort of helped create a little bit of competition there too, and you'll see from the tape that the police officers and some of the people there with Operation Pullover and from our staff were actually kind of cheer section leaders. So we gave the teachers a hard time, and they were real good sports, and we appreciated them doing that.
Now, this program, I feel, is something that every school maybe should participate in or try to, or some youth groups or different things like this. Is it possible to get this information or get a packet of the game itself? Are You in Jeopardy? I think it's something that would be worthwhile to spread around the state of Indiana.
Well, the game itself, the one that we use in the video that you'll see, isn't available through our office, but what is available through our office is the lesson plan and how to build your own game. So if police officers or advocates out there would like to have a copy, they can just call us and we can make sure they get that.
And with that game, like I said, we use 8th graders at Arlington Woods Middle School in Indianapolis, and it was a pretty rowdy group, and we as you can see on the video, the kids seemed to really be spirited and really into it, and after a while, the kids really, made it a competition, especially because they wanted to beat the teachers. I think, with us being there and just egging them on and also giving them that camaraderie, I think they were able to just carry the game on and really get into it.
Right, and that's the best way to learn, is to have fun doing it, and that's why they were a very enthusiastic group, and I think the teachers wanted to win as bad as the kids wanted to win, and I just wanted everybody to win, and by wearing their seatbelts, that's how they can win, and so that was the lesson in the game.
And that is true. The common goal is we want everyone to wear the seatbelts. Pass it on to your little brothers and sisters. The forgotten group, and even the older brothers and sisters that are driving cars, and especially the parents. The common goal is to everyone to wear their seatbelts. And if we can get that accomplished, our jobs will be a lot easier. I think we might put us out of business. But
That would be good.
Yes, it would be, but I don't think that'll ever happen. And that's why we have great people like you going around and your staff talking to different groups.
Well, and we have a lot of partners across the state who do that. So, you talked about some of the people who were at Arlington Woods with the police departments, the various ones, Indianapolis Police Department and Indiana State Police. It takes everybody really to get the message across, and we all want to save lives. And one thing with this age group of 14-year-olds that we targeted for this particular campaign is peer pressure is such an important thing in their lives, and wearing your seatbelt and being, pressuring your peers to do that is not a bad thing. I mean, that's where peer pressure could really save a life.
And I hope so. I mean, with the peer pressure, in that age group, it's almost everything. Mom and dad almost don't exist as far as what the opinions of the young people feel. And if we can get into schools and kind of infiltrate that a little bit and let them know that we're all in this together as far as the safety and, passing on the knowledge, they can pass it on to their friends and their little ones and little brothers and sisters.
And what you said, too, is true with schools. I mean, we've had such wonderful cooperation with schools, and it's important that everybody work together to help these kids be safer.
Great. And with that's some great information. And with the game that we got a chance to see and talk about, here's some kids from Arlington Woods that gave us a little help on as far as the cable show itself.
Stay tuned and we'll be right back. Don't go away. Seatbelts rule.
Oh, Maria, Elmo sure is excited about going for a ride.
Same here.
Elmo wants to sit in the front seat.
Elmo must sit in the back.
In the back?
Kids always sit in the back, Elmo, with safety belts fastened. Look at Gabby.
And little kids sit in special safety seats.
A special seat?
That's right, Elmo. You ready?
Yeah!
Remember, kids sit in the back seat and everyone buckles up.
Children gone, long time passing. Where have all the children gone, long time ago? Where have all the children gone, gone to graveyards one by one? Oh, when will we ever learn? Oh, when will we ever learn?
Every day, 10 children are killed by gunfire. The killing won't stop unless you help stop it. Call 1-800-WE-PREVENT to find out what you can do. Not one more lost life, not one more grieving family, not one more.
Oh, when will we ever learn?
Okay, what we're going to do here today, we're going to play the game in just a second, but before we do that, I just want to go over a couple things. First of all, how many people in this room, and be honest with me, wear your seatbelts? All right. Okay. Those of you who don't, there are reasons that you don't wear them, and some of them may sound like good reasons, but let me hear some of the reasons, or maybe not you, but let's hear some of the reasons. Just raise your hand. Do you know a reason why somebody doesn't wear a seatbelt? Okay, because it runs across your neck. You heard that? Okay. Is that a dangerous thing? Yeah. If the seatbelt rubs your neck, it's not dangerous. It's a little bit annoying, but it's much less annoying than if you're in a crash and you don't have a seatbelt. That's a good one.
We are ready to start. You know what the 5 categories are. Which one would you like to start with?
You're going to have to do a body parts.
We're going to start with body parts for how many points? 10. For 10 points. Body parts for 10 points. The answer is This may be soft enough for a friend to cry on, but when it comes to... Oh, who buzzed in there? What is your shoulder? That is correct. The teachers take a commanding lead with 10 points. This explosive safety feature won't provide you with enough protection unless you use it with the seatbelt. And remember, it has to be a question. What is an airbag? That is correct. And the answer is, this is the strongest bodyguard you can have in a car.
Seatbelt.
What is a seatbelt? Team 1, that is correct. Team 1 is running the order. You can do this in 100 yards, or it's something padded in your car for added protection. Okay, teachers, Team 3. What is dash? Is the correct answer for 40 points. The answer is, this is the weekend curfew for drivers under the age of 18. Teachers rang in on that. I'm sorry. And what is 1 a.m.? That is correct. Another audio clue. The answer, this rhythm and blues star encouraged children to travel safely in the following public service announcement. And here comes our clue.
Safe place for kids.
I think it was one. Who is what?
Ray Charles.
Who is Ray Charles? That is correct. The answer is, during the first 90 days that a 16-year-old has a driver's license, a passenger of this age must be in the car. Team 1. What is 21 years old? That is correct. You can learn a lot about buckling up from a dummy. Team 1. I'm sorry, I need more specific. I need more specific. Team 2 or Team 3? Okay. Time's up. Who are Vince and Larry, the crash test dummies? Body parts for 30. The answer is, if you don't wear a seatbelt over strong bones, one of these can be severely injured, or the name of the keyboard instrument played by the Phantom of the Opera.
What is the collarbone?
I'm sorry, what is the collarbone? It's not right. Team 3. What is an organ? That is correct. For 40, and the answer is, what you might have if you hit the windshield, or the term used to describe fans of the late Jerry Garcia. Number 2? What is that? This country music star became a spokesperson for seatbelt use after she was involved in a severe car crash. Who is Barbara Mandrell? That is correct. Points, it's an audio clue. The answer is, this animated Hoosier feline reminds people to buckle up.
Safety belt. Yeah. You know, safety belts save lives. Yeah, especially mine. Besides, this way I can keep life sitting on my head. Unlike cats, kids don't get out alive, so don't get off every time and don't ever drink and drive because...
Team 1.
How you do that?
I need it. Who is Garfield? That is correct.
Winners are...
Please remember when you leave here today that a seatbelt will save your life. That regardless of whether you think about it, it's not cool, or because your friends don't do it. I've talked to a lot of people your age and older that have been, as they have sat in the hospital having shards of glass removed from their face, getting multiple stitches, and they say, I'll always wear my seatbelt from now on because I'll have the scars to remember what happened when I didn't. So don't become another statistic. Please remember to buckle up because the life you save could be your own.
Welcome back, and once again we're here with Dr. Judy Shees of the Indiana School of Medicine Automotive Safety Program, and we work a lot with you as a department, and I know you work with other police agencies, but can you mention some of the other folks that you do work with as far as putting the game together and just in general?
Right. We have a lot of advocates around the state. You said law enforcement's one. We also work with medical programs, hospitals, health departments, and just people who are interested in this cause put in a lot of volunteer time. For this particular game, the Governor's Council on Impaired and Dangerous Driving, really this is their program. We're working with them, and we're happy to have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I find it quite helpful for us as police officers to be able to call you or call your agency for assistance, even call the Governor's Council for different things as far as promotional items and different help that we use for schools, and I mean, we greatly appreciate that. But is it possible for other people to get a hold of you or get information from you as far as the general public?
Yeah, any information on traffic safety. You know, our office also houses the Indiana Safe Kids Coalition, so we do all kinds of safety issues. But if people call our phone number, if we don't have the information that they want, we'll find out where they can get that.
Judy, I would like to really appreciate you, and I thank you for coming here and talking with us today. It's
my pleasure.
Taking time out of your busy schedule to come and be with us. And stay tuned for more information from the Indiana State Police Public Information Show. But until then, here's another message from a student at Arlington Woods Middle School in Indianapolis.
Hi, my name is Wesley Watson. I'm from Arlington Woods Middle School. Stay here and we'll be right back.
Crackhead, drug dealer, street hustler, gang member. All kicked out of the community with the help of kids
Like me.
Me.
Us.
You can make a difference. We have the power to help prevent crime. Call 1-800-722-TEENS to find out what you can do in your community.
It's time we're judged by
What we do.
not how we look.
Vince and Larry here to remind you that with or without airbags, kids belong in the back seat. Right, kids?
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your kids in the back seat.
Yeah. What's up? It's Chuck D. And in the game, there's winners and losers. If you think that you're better with drugs, then you're on the loser's side. And that's for real. I ain't never seen a winner in the drug game. So we want to make sure that the next generation ain't generation wreck. Don't be a loser. Drug addiction, nobody wins. So you make sure that you give drugs no love. Peace.
I change the people around me. Yeah. I change the people around me.
That was your driver's license. Car and your cash. Your best friend. Your freedom. Oh, and then there's you. Wear a safety belt and don't drink and drive. The police will nail you and getting busted bites.
Welcome back, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Today we found out that the teachers still know a little more than the students, but the students were very knowledgeable about the seatbelt information they were giving. With that, we hope that you pass this information on to your family and loved ones because the life you save may be your own.